Most of the time I'm here on my own, so it's comparatively quiet, and I like it just being out here with the birds. Generally, when I'm out there, walking around in my woods, or I can leave all of that behind and just be completely, I guess what I'd say, completely present. There's nothing else in my mind at all except, the bird I'm looking at. All those other cares or concerns or whatever are left behind during that time. Got another species we hadn't had yet, so. My hometown's Chillicothe, and I was over there actually at Christmas, visited my family and went out, bird watching to a local lake, and these folks pulled in a car and they were looking at birds, and I actually didn't realize that there were any people in my hometown that were bird watchers, and so they saw that I had binoculars and we started talking. In the conversation, it turned out that this fellow was a bird bander, and he said, "You should come to my bird banding operation sometime." And so I went out there, and I would go out every so often. And he'd say, "Oh, you ought to start doing this," And I thought about it for a while, but it wasn't actually until probably a couple years later I decided I really would like to do that. Okay. First thing I always do, and I have to be cautious, sometimes I get really excited when I get a bird that is uncommon that I haven't had before. I'm so caught up with looking at it and things. I have to remember to put the band on, and then I go to the data sheet, and usually by that point I've already written down, the day that I'm operating and the time. There are certain things that the bird banding lab requires that I give them. The number of the band that went on the bird, the species of the bird, the location that I'm at, and the date. And basically that's the only thing that they absolutely have to have, but there's a lot of other data they're happy to have and that I take in addition. I really like to think that, through the work that I do and sharing the knowledge I have and the experience, that I'm, getting some more folks to be interested in birds, to have a greater appreciation for them, and hoping that leads to, some better conservation of the birds. I mean, it is a fact that I tell my students in the lecture that within their lifetimes it would appear that a significant proportion of the birds that we share the planet with now are no longer going to be with us because the loss of habitat is the main thing. And I think about birds like an ivory-billed woodpecker that is now no longer with us, and what a magnificent bird that was, and how much I wish I would have had the opportunity to see one, So I think that's part of my responsibility to try to do what I can to see that as many birds as possible continue to be out there for people to appreciate.